And I found myself, trying to get food on the table. I had grown up in a home, as I said, my mother was a fabulous cook, so we had hour to 2 hour dinners every night. My dad would come home, he was a doctor, we'd sit and have these beautiful evenings and with fresh food. And so I sort of thought that's how it was. And as you know now, our lifestyle is very different. After school is no longer a time of peace and relaxation. It's actually,
you're really
Uber
ramped for your
up.
Kids, really, pretty much. I mean, you're dropping them off here and there and working on homework and everything.
I was really struggling, and then as you know, my middle child has really complex learning challenges. He was diagnosed as developmentally delayed as a baby. It didn't have functional language till he was 4. So you can imagine when school happened, it was very difficult for him. So he would come home from school, and I'd be trying to figure out dinner in between all these activities, and it was really tough. And so I called my friend. I said, I'm failing. I'm sinking. I said to her, I can't even get dinner on the table. What kind of life is this? What am I going to do? And she was so cute. She's a teacher. She's my best friend forever. She said, okay, all right, listen, you're not a failure. She said, I want you to think you're June Cleaver. And she said, you have a tough parenting deal, but you're June. So you're okay. So I said, okay. And I literally had my notepad out. And she said, the second thing is, she said, you got to get off the phone. You're way too accessible. The kids come home, you unplug the phone. I said, all right, I'm unplugging the phone. And I literally did at 3 o'clock. And then she said, the third thing she said is, go buy a crock pot. And I go, okay, I get the first two. I do not know what you're talking about. They're throwing, 'cause I didn't grow up with a crock pot. And so she said, no, it's really great. You chop everything up, you put it in, you go away, and food's waiting for you. And I said, that just sounds like magic. I've got to get one of those. So I went out the next morning, bought myself a big slow cooker, and I looked at this, what am I going to do with this? I bought all these cookbooks, and they were all so fancy. I'm like, I don't want that, because actually, I'm a decent cook in the kitchen. I wanted something really simple, so I went to I went to Barnes & Noble, bought a book that said 5 ingredients or less. I said, that's it. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And I started cooking, and I actually fell in love with it right away. The ease, the flexibility, the aroma. I felt so relaxed getting my food on the table. And then 2 years into it, my baby daughter started crying one day, saying she couldn't eat any more thick meat, because all I knew how to make was pot roast, beef stew, and chili. So I thought but I wasn't ready to give it up. So I thought, I'm going to figure out how to make this work. So I kind of pulled out my old cookbooks and started tweaking the recipes, and the food really got very good. And along that line, and this is a whole other part of the story, I just really got into yoga and meditation. And my teacher one day said to everyone, she gave everyone a sadhana, a daily ritual to do. And I thought, one more thing I'm not going to get done. And she was so cute. She said, listen,
I remember this.
walk your dog without your phone, or drive your car, or just drive your car. And then she said, if you're going to chop your vegetables, just chop them. I thought, I can do that. So I turned my prep time into meditation. So in addition to not being on the phone, doing it at a time of day that I was pretty at peace, everyone was gone, and then taking that 20 minutes, it was actually a time I really looked forward to. I kind of gave myself a 20-minute break. Anyway, so fast forward to 2010, as you know, I decided to take a year out to study what life would look like for my son when he aged out of the school system. They call it the cliff, because kids come out and there's really nothing for them. And my son is adorable and very vibrant. And so I gathered a group of moms, and we were doing all this research. And one of them came to me today, and she said, they're hiring adults with disabilities to make buttons. It was the south side of Chicago. And I looked at my son, and I'm like, he's just not a button guy. Like, he needs to be out with people, but he's got language-based challenges. So I thought, I'm gonna do something where he can work. So I was sitting with another friend one day, and I said, I said, I know this is what I meant to do with my life. I know this is a divine purpose that I meant to do. I just don't know what to do, and I want to have fun doing it. And she goes, well, what makes you happy? And I laughed, and I said, well, I'm really having fun with this slow cooking thing, and everyone thinks I'm nuts with it, and it's become I told her the whole story. She said, I don't know what you're talking about, but do that. So that's where the idea for the Zen of Slow Cooking came, and I bought a bunch of domain names, the yoga of slow cooking, the sadhana, the Zen, and everyone said, go with the Zen, everyone's going to understand that. That's the one they're going to understand the best. So I went, and then I started trying to find somebody to help me get this business off the ground, and no one was that interested. And I kept saying, there's a market here that a lot of people are into, but no one knows that no one's tapping into it in a healthy way. And so this is 2010, 2011, and then I